All right, I want to make sure that we're respectful of your time. I know we have a long session today. So I wanted to get started. We're going to cover both the print platform as well as the digital platform this morning. Can everyone hear me okay? If you can, just type yes in the chat window. Anyone? Great. And so we have Sarah on the line from our print vendor, and she's going to walk us through this platform. If you have questions throughout, just type them in the chat, and I'll answer them as I go. And if there's something that we need to follow up with, then we'll do that after the call. So with that, I think, Sarah, you are unmuted. So I'll give you control to begin walking through this.
All right, Julie, just making sure you can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Happy Tuesday and good morning. As Julie mentioned, we're going to take a few minutes and walk you through the new print portal. So I'll be walking you through kind of start to finish how to log in, how to customize orders, how to place an order, and how to check out. So at the top of the screen, you will see a domain name. It's cbwstore.com. I recommend that you save that in your favorites or save it somewhere on your computer so you can quickly access it whenever you need to place an order. And then here in the center below welcome, you'll see two fields. One is for your email address and one is for your password. Now your username, which is the first line, will be the same user ID as you used for Datadog. And your password to start is CBW in all caps and then the number 1. So again, that's CBW1. And that is your temporary password. Once you log into the site, you are able to change your password. And I'll show you real quickly how to do that once we're logged in. Below here, you'll see two links. One is forgot your password and one is for new users. So once you log in, you change your password, and if you do forget it at some point, simply select forgot your password. It will email you instructions to change it. And then new users, click here. If you are opening a new location and you want to and you need to add that location to the system, you'll select this form. It'll ask some basic questions. You'll fill it out. We'll set up your new location and provide you with the login information. So once you've typed in your email and your password, it's going to bring you to what we call the welcome or the splash page. And what you'll see here at the bottom is your different brands. So you'll get to select which brand applies to you, and that's where you'll go to actually see the catalogs and look at the items. Here at the top, we have a what's new and a feedback section. As we add new products, new promotions, new items to the site, this messaging will update. So do check back and look at that, and that will feature anything new that you may have not seen before. And then you'll see we have an email here. You can select and give us feedback. We do want feedback from you on things that you love, things that you'd like to see added, or any modifications you'd like to see to the site. The ultimate goal is, this was a really great, easy shopping experience for you, so we'd love to hear from you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Camp Bow Wow. And what that's going to do is bring us to the catalog page. So if you look at the left-hand side, we're going to start at the top, and this is a search function. So if you have an item number or you don't have an item number and you're not sure where something's located, you can simply type in a name like bag or caller ID tag, and it will bring you directly to the item. Here you'll see results per page. This loaded at 40. If for some reason you wanted to modify or change that, you can do that here to see more items per page. And then this would allow you, if there's more than 40 items on this page, you can go directly to page 2 and pull up the additional items. On the left, the main catalogs here are noted in red. So we have Camp Bow Wow, we have Home Buddies, Behavioral Buddies, Bow Wow Buddies, multi-branded, etc. The number represents the number of items that are available in that category. And then the categories have subcategories as well. So under Camp Bow Wow, you'll see promotional, camp accessories, print, downloadable files. You'll see here there's something called favorites. What you can do is preload items that you're going to frequently order to your shopping cart to make it super easy for you to reorder. And I'll show you when we go to an item how to add it to the favorites, but that would be have all your favorites preloaded for you, again, just to speed up that shopping experience. You'll see account info with some basic information, and then under other links, when you select My Account, what that's actually going to do is allow you to change and reset your password. So your current password would be the CBW one, and then you're going to fill in these fields, and then it will allow you to change your password. And then below under Support and Site Training is my team's contact information. We have a name, phone, and email. So if there's any questions about ordering, please feel free to reach out to us so we can answer any questions you have. So now let's walk through how to actually order an item. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Promotional. So there's 26 items within this catalog, and then you'll see a listing of all those different types of items. So let's look at the first item listed. This is an inventoried item. In the way you know it's an inventoried item, it's going to say inventory quantity. So what that means is this item is pre-produced, and it will be available in the warehouse and fulfillment center. It's going to have the image, the item name, the unit of issue, so this comes in a roll of 1,000. It's going to have a price, and then when you want to add it to your cart, you enter how many rolls you want and select Add to Cart. Now here on the right, you'll see you have one item in the shopping cart, so you know that's been added. Now you'll see here at the bottom where it says Show Details. Go ahead and select that if you want more information about the item. So in this case, it has a basic description. It also is going to have a production time. So it's going to tell you how long it will take, assuming the product is in stock, to get that item. Now here in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see where it says Favorite. If this is an item you think you're going to order frequently and you want to add it to your favorites, simply select Favorite, and it will add it and preload that item in your shopping cart. Now we have another type of item, which is what we call a static or a template or a customizable item. And this is an item that is not sitting in the warehouse. It's actually produced once you order it. So you'll see an image here. You'll see it says Koozie Customizable, and then it has a minimum. So this is minimum quantity of 50 pieces. We're going to go ahead and select the item, and it's going to bring up a template for you to customize some information. Now at the top, it does list a turnaround time, so it's very important that you read that. If you needed this item tomorrow, you're not going to want to order this item because it has a 5 to 7 day production time plus shipping because it's produced on demand. Below this is a description of the item. And then in this case, this item has 2 customizable fields, a phone number and a website. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in a phone number here. And then I'm just going to put test here. Now, next step is you're going to preview the PDF, and this is going to open another window, and it's actually going to have the proof for you. So this is the actual file that's going to production. So you'll see my phone number and then my web address here. So you're going to want to make sure that this is exactly correct how you want it before you add it to your shopping cart, because this is what actually will be produced. Now the other thing that's important to note is if you have a pop-up blocker on your computer, you're going to either want to shut that off or make sure you say, yes, it's okay for this site to have pop-up. Because if you have that on, it will not allow the pop-up proof to open up. Then you're going to type in your order quantity. Let's say we saw that the minimum, again, was 50. So let's say we want to order 75. And then we're going to go ahead and add that to our cart. Shows here it's been added. Now in the upper right, I now have 2 items. I've ordered 1 label, and I've ordered my koozies. Now, where it says minimum quantity 50, if for some reason you forget to read that, when you get to your shopping cart, if you don't order 50, it's going to let you know that. So when you're in the shopping cart, it's going to say minimum was not met, and then you can modify your quantity. Now we're going to go to print items. So again, we have the same situation here. We have two types of items. We have items that are in inventory, such as this item, the Camp Bow Wow folder. And then we also have items that are customizable, such as the first item listed here, which is the letterhead. So let's go ahead and look at the customizable item. On the right is the image, and then again on the left, this is where we're going to customize our information. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that here. And then I'm going to just put an email in here. Now, on the left-hand side of these fields, you'll see this has an asterisk. An asterisk means that it's required. So you will not be able to order the item unless you have a street address. Some of these are optional, and you can tell that because there's no asterisk next to those fields. Now I'm going to preview my PDF. This is going to open, again, a print-ready proof. This is the actual file that's going to production. I had just typed in test, but whatever you had actually entered in for your address information would appear here. Again, make sure everything's correct. These are available in boxes of 500. I'm going to go ahead and say I want 2. Now the other thing to note is you can save items in your history, and what that does is when you're going in to reorder, you can pull up your history. So you could, if you wanted to, when you come back in, pull up the history, and it will preload that information for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my cart. And now it's going to show that I have 3 items in my shopping cart. I ordered 2 promo items, and now I just ordered a box of letterhead. Now we're going to go to the downloadable files. Now these are items that you do not need to purchase. These are files that you're going to receive, and then you can use to send them to publications and other approved outlets. So these are template items. Just like the other ones that we've customized. On the right is the image. On the left, you're going to go in here and select from the different drop-downs. We're going to type in our location information. Again, asterisks mean required fields. Let's just put contact here. And then I'm going to preview my PDF. Again, I'm going to look at my proof. I'm going to make sure everything's correct and exactly how I would like it to be. Then I'm going to, in the order quantity, just put 1, and you'll see that the price is 0, so there's no cost for this item. And then I'll show you how you're actually going to get the file. So we're going to add that to our cart. So let's say we've gone in and we've ordered all the different items that we want to order. We have 4 items in our shopping cart. I'm going to go ahead now and view my cart. And what it's going to do is it's going to default to your location number and your location address, so whatever location you had logged in as. And then it's going to default to ground freight. So we really want to help you minimize your freight expense as much as possible. If for whatever reason you absolutely need to do second day or overnight, you can, but just know that the system will default to ground. And then what it's done here is it's listed all the different items that you've ordered. You'll see your customizable text listed as well. It's going to give you your quantity, your price, your freight method. Now you can drill down at the item level and modify your freight. So maybe you're ordering these items, but one of them, for instance, let's say the koozies, you for whatever reason need to overnight, but the rest can go ground. You can do that. Right there, I just changed that to overnight. You can also modify your quantity here as well. So if you're saying, well, I actually maybe need to order 3 rolls now instead of 1, you can do that here. And then you can simply proceed to checkout. Now, if you want to place an order and do what we call a drop ship and drop ship it to multiple different locations, you can do that by selecting the Ship To box, and it's going to open a window. And you can either select search by store number or search by address. I'm going to select search by store number, and it's going to bring a drop down of all the different stores. And let's say I want to drop ship to 3 different stores. I've now selected 3 stores from the database. You can also ship to a custom address. So let's say you want to ship to your house or a hotel or some other address that's not in the database. You're going to put in all your information here. It automatically defaults to keep this on file, and this will only be tied to your user profile. So nobody else in the system will have access to this address. So you can enter it in and hit save. If for whatever reason you don't want to keep it on file, you would simply unselect this box. Now I'm shipping to 3 different locations, so I'm going to close out of this. And then in the top now it's showing multiple because you're shipping to multiple addresses. Then here below show details on the left, if you select this plus sign, what it's going to do now on each item is drop down your different store addresses, and you can come in and modify at the address level. So I could say I want to order 4 for this location. Now I'm ordering a total of 6. And I could say I want to overnight this location, but the rest I want to go ground. So it allows you a lot of flexibility to really drill down here if you're shipping to multiple addresses. So the same for each item. I could come in here and say I actually want to order 150 for this location. I want to order 75 for these 2. And then you could say I actually want to ship, all of these ground. So once you've come in and modified and added all your addresses, made sure your freight methods are how you want them and your quantities are correct, then you're going to go to checkout. And I'm just going to update my cart really quickly here. Okay, so now what I've done, just so I can show you the whole process, is we're going to go to checkout, and I've now removed items from my shopping cart. So the only item I'm now ordering is the downloadable item. So this is the item where there's no cost. So you'll see that all these zeros here because I'm actually not needing to purchase anything. You can type us any notes. If you were ordering items for purchase, they would be listed here. It would have your product cost, your tax, your freight, your grand total. In the checkout field, you can also put an attention to and list a personal purchase order if you want that to be referenced on the copy that you get for your payment. And you can also put any notes to our customer service team. So if you have any questions or you need us to call you or anything at all, just enter that here. Then you're going to agree to the terms, and you're going to submit your order. Within 1 to 5 seconds, you should get a copy of your order confirmation, as you see here, and this is going to list everything that you've ordered. Now, this is also emailed to you, so you have a reference of it. So you might want to set a default in your email to just, all your order confirmations directly go into a specific folder. In this case, because this is a downloadable item, it's actually listing a link here so you can download the file. So I'm going to go ahead and select Click to Download Artwork. And here's the actual file. And then here at the bottom, you're going to select Save, where it says Save a Copy. And then you can save it wherever you want on your computer. In my case, I'm going to save it to my desktop. So now I have this file to access and to email and to send to anybody that I need to. Now, depending on what type of computer you have and what type of browser, your Save button may look different or may appear in a different space, but the process is the same. So now I have that file on my desktop, and I can reference that as I need to. All right, and that's your high-level ordering process. So again, if you have any questions, put them in the talk section on the webinar, or feel free to reach out to our customer service team. And the site is live, so feel free to log in sometime this week and look at what's available and place an order if you need to.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sarah. There was one question about ads. Are they able to be sized? We've created two versions, a horizontal version and a vertical version, and so once you customize it and save it, you should be able to provide that to whichever vendor you're using or outlet, and they'll be able to size it to whatever the ad dimensions are for their display. Other than that, as you guys use the platform, and if you have any feedback, included in that Pack News email was links to the forums. So we have forums on the Doghouse. So as you get in and use the new print platform, please provide feedback in there so we know if there's any issues that you're experiencing or things that we need to look into. So thank you, Sarah. And now we're going to transition over to the digital platform, and Ethan will be giving that. So just give us 1 minute. Great. So I think, Ethan, I have you unmuted.
All right. So you hear me okay?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, great. And right now, are you looking at a PowerPoint screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll jump into it. Thanks, Julie, for the transition. And everyone who is joined on the call, thanks a bunch for joining. Obviously, taking 2.5 hours a day is tough, but we definitely appreciate it. Hope that it's going to really kind of improve the way you guys are going about managing your digital marketing initiatives over the next 2 hours, like we'll talk about. So I'm Ethan Littman. I'm one of Bridgeline's dedicated IAPS trainers for the Camp Bow Wow websites, which are powered by IAPS. I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your schedule to join us again today. And I hope that you're all excited to learn how IAPS is going to help you grow and manage your new websites. Now, today the most important thing is keeping it interactive. So please ask questions. My number one priority is you being comfortable with your website. So type questions into the chat box, and Julie will interrupt me and give the question. So definitely keep this as interactive as possible. So this is a really exciting time. I mean, you guys now have the power to easily update and modify the majority of content or images on your website. And in the new age of website ownership and powerful content management systems, what's great is we no longer have to rely on developers or other quote-unquote technological users to make website edits for us. Nowadays, people like you and me, we use tools like IAPS that make it so non-technical users can update their websites in a flash. That's my favorite part. And if you are technical and you want to modify things like HTML, I'm going to show you how to do that today as well. Now, the goal of this is to empower you, right? We give you a beautiful website.
Hey, Ethan, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We have a couple participants saying, or franchise owners saying, that it's a little bit muffled. So I don't know if there's something that you can do to sound a little bit more clear.
Let me see. I mean, is this any better? Can you tell a difference at all?
Randy or Sherry or Nancy, you guys noted that it was sounding muffled. Is that better for you?
Testing, testing.
Someone says better. So
okay. All right, great. So I mean, just basically, the goal here is to empower you guys. You get a beautiful website. It's mobile friendly. It's built on the latest technologies. And now you're going to be able to go in and make all the changes that you want to make, which is really great. So today we're going to be covering a number of topics. First and foremost, the number one topic is your website. Right, again, this is all about you. So we want you to be as comfortable and ask as many questions as possible. We're also going to kickstart today with an unveiling of your new beautiful Camp Bow Wow website, which I'm really excited about. From there, we're going to talk about, well, we're going to review the scenario booklet that's been provided for you by Julie. This scenario booklet is pretty much our holy grail as we go through the training. And as we go through the training, I'm going to do my best job to go, in a linear fashion through the booklet, but I'm also going to let you know at all times what page we're on for purposes like note-taking and following along. After that, we're going to dive into the IAPS WYSIWYG Editor. WYSIWYG stands for What You See is What You Get, and it's what allows us to make edits in IAPS in a very similar tool to Microsoft Word. Now, this tool is used on pages such as Why Can't Bow Wow page and many, many other pages. It's pretty much the cornerstone to knowing IAPS. From there, we're going to get into scenario-based training. This training is going to be using the scenario booklet as we delve into a whole bunch of different topics. And as I mentioned earlier, although we may not go in the exact order of the booklet, I will keep everyone updated the corresponding booklet page for things like note-taking. From there, we're going to get into talking about managing your store hours and your holiday hours using what we call attributes. After that, we're going to take the dive over to Marketeer and go through your incredibly powerful and easy email marketing system. And of course, after this brief PowerPoint, we're going to do the full IAPS training. Now, this is just one of the products or services pages on your website, or one example of a page on your website. This is the products or services page. But all of your website pages are built with the same beautiful responsive design view. So what is responsive design? Well, responsive design means that your website is optimized for any device and any screen size. It's always going to be showing the website viewer the most optimal content, no matter how they're visiting your website. Now, not only is this great for you guys as marketers right now, being that you only have to manage one website worth of content, right? You don't have to manage a website for mobile and a website for full screen. It's all one website. But Google also eats up and loves responsive design websites and routinely ranks them higher in search engine ranking pages, and they really have phenomenal built-in search engine optimization SEO properties. So this is this scenario booklet I referenced during our agenda review. This booklet is really going to become your new best friend, next to your puppy, of course, when it comes to managing your website. This booklet will show us how to edit things like pricing tables, featured campers, our team pages, featured callouts, email marketing, and more. This is really going to be an extremely useful tool, and today we're going to literally go step by step and review the content of this booklet. Now, as I mentioned, we want to empower you to be able to make content changes and publish them right away. And to do that, we use this simple-to-understand WYSIWYG toolbar, which allows you to modify content, insert images, create hyperlinks, insert PDFs, and more. And if you want to translate text on your page, then no problem. You could use our built-in Microsoft Bing translator. If you want to add an image from your computer to your website, go for it. If you want to insert a pre-created, professionally captured Camp Bow Wow image from the Camp Bow Wow corporate image library, you can do that too. Today I'll show you how easy it is to optimize your website with really easy to understand tools. The scenario-based training is going to walk us through managing the day-to-day tasks of your website. And today we're going to see how you can complete typical scenarios like changing your homepage featured items, managing your team members, updating your testimonials, and more. And this is the website attribute screen I alluded to earlier. Website attributes allow you to easily manage super important things like your camp location, hours, phone numbers, okay? So today we're going to see all the elements you can manage with these attributes. And now that your website's rocking and rolling, it's going to be time for you guys to drive customer engagement by sending out targeted emails to customers. And ICE has a built-in email marketing platform which allows for really powerful campaign management. And that means you're going to be able to send generic marketing emails and also highly targeted emails to lists of contacts who require things like vaccinations and active notifications or maybe updates on their next reservation. And the key here in Marketeer is that you're going to be able to get the right message to the right people at the right time. And finally, we're here for you. We understand that even with easy-to-use editing tools, you're going to have questions on how to make changes to your website. And look, any new technology comes with a learning curve. We get that, I get that, and we're here to help make this transition as smooth as possible for you. If you ever have any questions or you want to just simply learn more, you're going to be able to call a dedicated support phone number for Camp Bow Wow. If you prefer to self-service, you'll be able to navigate to your dedicated Camp Bow Wow support website, where we're going to have a plethora of libraries of help videos, user guides, FAQs, and more. And obviously right now you see a lot of TBDs, and that's just because we're finalizing the logistics around the phone number, the email address, and the support website URL. But as soon as that information is available to us, we're going to update the entire Camp Bow Wow team immediately. All right, so with that, let's hop over to the website for a full unveiling and training. All right, so here I am on a Broomfield location, so an example location that we'll be using. And let's just go through a brief website overview. I know that not everyone here has kind of been introduced to the new website. And what we're looking at here is your home page. So as I scroll down your home page, you see that we could do things like take a tour. Current customers can make a reservation. Those will bring us to different form pages. You get the ability to highlight certain services. Here's 3 top-level promotions where you could promote certain items. A big banner at the bottom, and then all your testimonials right over here. As we go over to another page, such as our services page, let's take a look at that responsive design I was talking about. So right now, this page looks beautiful on a desktop, right? Really intuitive, great imagery. What happens on a mobile device? We don't want scrolling. We want an optimized view for mobile. Well, with responsive design, as I start to bring in my screen size, look at the word giving back and franchise opportunities. Look at how they're not disappearing. Instead, they're moving with the screen size. They're moving with me. Go to some other websites, that's not going to happen. This is what responsive design means, right? It's responding with me. It's responding with the screen size, always showing optimal content to the end user. So now as we get down to something about the size of an iPhone or a cell phone, look at how the content totally shifts. We have a mobile-friendly menu now. Broomfield location is at the top, right? Because that's probably first and foremost. If I'm on a mobile device, I probably realistically just want to know how to get there. Scrolling down, my services are now optimized for a mobile view. I don't have any scrolling, right? There's no scrolling here. So today, you'll be able to take a look at your websites on a mobile device and just look at that, the mobile friendliness. And it's not just mobile, it's tablets also as well. All right, so I'm going to go back to full screen here. Let's take a look at a page like dog boarding. So now we're on an individual service page. And what you're going to see on these services pages are some marketing areas on the right. Like everywhere else, we have the stylized header text. And then here you have different tabs. So in these tabs, you can add things to your overview. You can manage pricing. And today I'm going to walk you through these pricing tables and how to manage these tables. And then there's also FAQs, okay? So we have a whole bunch of different FAQs that have been populated into IS for you. As I scroll down on this page, we see that button about scheduling an interview. There's probably a big call to action for you guys. It's on a lot of different pages. My guess is this is some type of bread and butter, being that this is how you're going to convert leads, hopefully, to becoming new customers. So when we click on schedule an interview, you're going to be brought over to the schedule an interview page. And what you'll see is as I scroll down, I get all this information about, what requires being scheduled for an interview. And then I have this form. And this is the form that a user would fill out. And then you would also ultimately get a notification that someone has requested an interview at your location. Let's take a look at a couple other pages. So I'm going to head over to the let's go to take a tour. So I wanted to point out this page because of this video, all right? And the reason that's important is because you're going to be able to add videos to any page that you want. You can edit videos. You can integrate with YouTube or Vimeo. This website's really, really flexible and friendly when it comes to playing media, like videos. Another neat page is the events page. And this events page is neat because you're going to be able to highlight events, okay? And today I'm going to show you how you could go about creating new events. So from the event listing page, I have the ability to jump into an actual event itself. And now I'm on an event detail page where you have the details about the event, the ability to save this to an iCalendar, and then tabs. Maybe you have a tab about the event, maybe a tab called dress code, maybe a tab, as many tabs as you want specific for this event. All right, now let's take a look at the featured campers page. This is obviously a big page because without dogs, no Camp Bow Wow. We love our pups, right? So this is the featured campers page, and you guys with that with campers. On this page, you're going to be able to have an image of the dog, put in the dog's name, and then a little information, right? You can put in the age, the breed, and a fun fact about the dog, which is nice. Scrolling down, you'll see that we gave you a placeholder to begin filling in more and more of these pups. And, if you want to add another one, a third and a fourth and a fifth featured dog, you just copy all of this, paste it just like you would in Microsoft Word, and then add your third dog and your fourth dog, right? Fluffy, Stella, and Lola. All right. Now, even more important than the dogs is you guys, right? Your team members. Let's head over to About Us and Our Team, and now we're going to see the Our Team page. This is a page where you're going to be able to feature your team members, all the great things they do in the community, all the certifications they have, right? And this is the team design. So as you can see, you can put in the franchise owner name, a little about yourselves and fun facts, and then there's going to be a place where you're definitely going to want to highlight your staff. The position of the staff member, how many years, some skills and expertise, and some fun facts about your staff members. And this page could probably be long, right? I mean, you ultimately want to have all your staff members on this page. Before somebody gives you a dog, they probably want to know who they're giving the dog to watch them. And going along those lines, people want to feel safe. So we're going to have this awards and testimonials page where you can brag about the great things you're doing, the great things you've done, and the great feedback you've received. So here you're going to see the image of the dog, the owner's name, and then the owner description about why they love your location. And as you can see, they have a real star rating as well. All right, so we're going to be continuing on through your website more and more later on. So I think that's a good look at the front end of the website for now. So why don't we now at this point go ahead and take a look at that scenario guide. All right, so this is a scenario guide I was talking about, the franchise owner use cases guide, okay? And this is what we're going to be going by today. So I'm going to run through it a little bit, and then we're going to dive into the actual website training. This guide starts off with a table of contents. And then here you see your website URL. So the live website URLs right now, because we're in beta, are campout.prod.iaps.com/Broomfield. And then say log into the admin, you would do campout.prod.iaps.com/example Broomfield/admin. Okay? Now once the websites are live, you're not going to, of course, have prod and IAPS. The URL structure is going to be campbowwow.com/location or franchise. And then to log into the IAPS admin, again, you're just going to put /admin after the URL. So when you log into IAPS, you're going to be brought to the dashboard. And right here, we just kind of navigate and tell you about some of the different buttons on the dashboard. And we're going to talk about them today, so we're not going to necessarily look at these right now. All right, so now we're into the use cases. And the rest of this guide goes to use cases. These are use cases that we decided upon with the Campaign corporate team as being the most important use cases to everybody. So to start, I'm going to be on page number 6. And the first use case that we're going to cover is logging into IAPS. So to log into IAPS, I have another browser open right now. I personally like to use Firefox for the admin, Firefox or Chrome. So right now, I'm going to do campbowwow.prod.iaps.com/Broomfield/admin. And that's going to log me into the Broomfield admin account. All right, so this is the IAPS admin login page. So when you access this URL, you're going to be asked to input your username and password, which you've already received. So I'm going to put in my username and password. And this login page is your doorway into IAPS. From this login page, as of now, you could go to Content Manager or Marketeer. You would select your product suite and log in. IAPS is cross-browser, cross-operating system compliant, meaning you could use it on a Mac or a PC, from home, from the office, or from an airport, anywhere you have internet connection. That being said, I do recommend when you're in the admin side of your website, so you're in there making edits and whatnot, or creating emails in Marketeer, I recommend that you use Firefox or you use Chrome. It works better than Safari and eInternet, all right? So I'm going to click on Content Manager right now, and now click Login. Now when we log into IAPS, we're brought here, which is our IAPS dashboard. And before I talk about the dashboard, the very first thing you're going to want to do the first time you ever log into IAPS is update your password to make it special to you. So to update your password, you're going to hover over your username here and select Change Password. At this point, you'll receive a pop-up, and you'll enter in your current password followed by your new password twice. When you click Change Password, you're going to get logged out of IAPS, and you're going to need to log back into IAPS with your new password. All right, now before we continue along to talk about workflows, as we see on page 7, I'm just going to tell you a little about this dashboard, what we're looking at. This is what we'll call the back end of IAPS, okay? It's the back end of the system, it's the admin. And when you log into the back end, this screen right here is the dashboard. This is the first screen that you see when you log in. From the dashboard, we can do a lot of things. We can manage our image library, our file library, content library, menus and pages. You'll learn all about these things today. But what I love about IAPS is that you don't have to be in a back-end system very much. We want you on your website editing your website the same way an end user would see your website. And for that, we have something called Site Editor. So let's click on that. And what's going to happen now is I'm going to be brought to my website in Site Editor View. And I know I'm in Site Editor View because of two things. One, I see this top black bar, my action bar, and the other thing that I see is all these pencil icons. And anywhere you see a pencil icon, you'll be able to click and get a call to action menu specific to that area so that you can begin to edit that area. Now, after you go through this page and, you edit your services that appear, you edit some of these promotions, you edit this block, you edit your testimonials, you're going to be ready to publish out your content. Now, when you create new content or edit content, you're going to be submitting those updates through a workflow that are going to go to the corporate marketing team for approval. So when you're on a page like we're looking at here or any other page on your website, you're going to have an option at the top to submit into workflow right over here. Anytime you've updated content on a page or created new content on a page, you're going to click on Submit into Workflow to send that content over to the corporate team to publish it. When you click on Submit into Workflow, the first thing you'll have to do is choose the workflow that you're going to be submitting to. And we'll see that screen in just a second. Okay. So right now the workflow is not set up, but you'll be selecting a workflow. It'll probably be called something like Camp Hour Workflow. After that, you're even going to be able to select a publish date and a publish time for the content to go live. How cool is that? So if you want this content to go live on Halloween, you can create it today. Set the publish date and time for October 31st at 2:30 p.m. Choose your time zone, and then you would click Submit into Workflow. After clicking Submit into Workflow, Julie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'd say allow about 1 to 2 days for the corporate marketing team to either accept or reject your changes. If the corporate marketing team accepts your changes, they would click Publish. The content would not go live until the publish date and time that you set up here, okay? Let's say the corporate marketing team would reject your changes. Or let's say before you publish, I'm going to try that one again. Or let's say before you submit content to the corporate marketing team, you want to tell them why you made the changes you did. So you want to put a note along with the content, right? Or they want to put a note along with the rejection. Here we have page notes. So you could say like, hey guys, this is why I made the update, right? Blah, 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 blah. And then click Save Note. And that note will be saved with the page all the way through the workflow until the content is published. So it's just an internal way to explain why something was rejected or why you submitted something to workflow. Any questions on workflow so far or anything that we've spoken about at all?
I've been answering some as we go in the chat window, so I think we're caught up. The main question that came up is, does everything require workflow approval? Currently it will. It's more so we want to make sure everything looks right, the pictures you upload are the right dimensions, things like that. It is new for everybody. And so we want to make sure that your pages look as designed and everything will appear well for your customer. So we're going to require approval on everything. And then once everyone becomes more comfortable with it and familiar with the platform, then we'll remove restrictions or reduce the number of changes that require approval. And then in terms of turnaround time, we'll target 1 to 2 days, probably 1 day. There's quite a few of us who have the ability to review and approve. But it's more so doing a gut check to make sure everything is looking good on the new website. How do you know if a change is rejected? You will see that. And then, Ethan, I don't know if you went over the notes. Did you cover the notes piece?
We did cover the note piece, but it's a great question.
And so then if it is rejected, we would add a note as to why. or if it's something related to an image size, there's some things that we can also do to just correct that on your behalf.
And if something is rejected or when it's published, you're going to receive an email letting you know that the content was rejected. And also, when we go back to your Content Manager dashboard, so right when you log into IS, here you see publishing activity and in workflow. And you would see your items in the workflow, and you would see if it was required, you'd see if it was rejected or accepted here. All right, so let me go back over to my site editor. And what's nice is I don't have to go back to my dashboard to get to my site editor button. A nice little shortcut is I could hover right over here and get to my site editor.
And then while we're waiting for this to load, I've gotten a few questions about when are the sites planned to go live. Right now we're planning on November 16th, so it gives you about 4 weeks to enter in the information, make sure that you've customized it to your location. Again, use the forums on the doghouse to provide feedback, and assuming everything is going well, then we'll push everything live to be customer facing on the 16th. If things aren't ready, then we'll set a different date.
Cool. All right, so right now I'm on the bottom of page 7, section 1.5.4, which is creating and editing standard content, okay? So within IS, there's a whole bunch of different types of content that you're going to be working on. And I'll give you a little rundown about how you'll know which type of content you're working on at any given time. As I scroll down on this page, all of these contents look very different, right? Anytime you're looking at a piece of content like this that's very stylized, it's going to be using what we call a content definition. And a content definition basically just means that this is a stylized piece of content. And I like to think of it as if I'm looking at something and I'm like, man, I can never create this in Microsoft Word. That would be a pain. It's probably using a content definition, right? Having that happen. Then we also have lists. That was great to see what just happened, right? We're cycling through. We see a whole bunch of testimonials. That's a list. And what a list does is it pulls in multiple content definitions into one area. And now before I continue on to page 8 in the user guide, I'm going to start off going over the WYSIWYG Editor. Earlier I mentioned that with the WYSIWYG Editor is pretty much the backbone. You're going to have to know how to use the WYSIWYG Editor to use anything. So I'm going to go to a generic content page such as About Us and Why Can't Bow Out. And again, I see all my pencil icons here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this pencil icon, and I'm going to edit this page. Now, right off the bat, I want to scroll down. But when I scroll, I lose my toolbar, and that's frustrating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on this little icon here to pin the toolbar to come with me as I scroll down the page. Much better. So first of all, we call it a WYSIWYG Editor because it stands for what you see is what you get. What that means is as you type, things like word wrap are automatically going to happen. Style check is happening in line as well. Let's see some other tools that we have. This is all around styles. You guys have a brand new website. It's been newly created and newly designed. And that design does not just take into account, the images and the templates and the responsive and mobile friendly. But the design of your website also takes into account the font elements of your website. And by that, I mean your font color, your font size, your font text, etc. So anytime you're pasting in content from an external source, you're going to click on this button, Paste Plain Text, and paste the content within this box here. That's going to make sure that the content is pasting in with your website's pre-approved font elements. Next, as you're editing content, you might have some subheaders. And to give it that subheader feel, what you're going to do is highlight the text and change the header tag to H3. Okay. All right, so let's continue through now some other buttons in this toolbar. If you ever want to undo changes, click on this button here to undo them. And if you ever want to change back, you could redo it. Next, let's talk about images. And there's really two types of images that you're going to be doing. The first type of image is an image that you want to upload into the image library. And maybe this is an image that you took of a featured camper or staff, or an image that you found. Or maybe you want to insert an image from the professionally created Camp Bow Wow image library. You'll be able to do both. To insert an image, you'll click on this icon here. It looks like a landscape. Insert image from library. All right, this is your image library. When you log into iApps for the very first time, the only folder you're going to see here is unassigned. So I'm going to show you later on how you would be able to go into the image library and add more folders, okay? And the reason you would add more folders is just for internal structure, just so you know how to find your images. I mean, think of these folders as a file cabinet, right? It's the same way you have folders, on your desktop, right? I mean, it's just a way to keep files in order and keep things neat. Now, to upload a new image, you would hover over Add New. At this point, you could add one or multiple images. I'm going to go ahead and add one image. And I'm going to browse my image library for the image. So I'm going to pull an image that I have from my computer. Next, you could add a tooltip to the image. The tooltip is also known as the alt text. That's what tells the search engine like Google what this is an image of. Or if I was blind and I had a reader to read my pages, that's how the reader would decipher what this is an image of, right? Because search engines can't read an image. So putting in the tooltip is good for search engine optimization best practices. All right, now we would click Save. And here's that image. I could click on the image, select the image, and there it is. Now I could even resize the image right from here. That's how you get an image from your PC into the image library. What about an image from the shared Camp Bow Wow image library or image repository? Well, again, I'll do Insert Image from Library. And this time I also want to call out one more thing, which is these little yellow icons. What that's telling you is that this image is larger in the size of it, the weight of it, than we recommend for the web. An optimal website image is under 100 KB. Anything over 100 KB is going to get this little icon. That doesn't mean you can't put this image on the website, but it means if on your home page you have 15 to 20 images, and each one of them is, 2, 3, 500, 1,000 KB, that home page is going to load slower. So you're going to want to be optimizing images, which you could use, Photoshop or Microsoft Image Editor to make images lighter weight and more web-friendly, giving them as a JPEG versus a PNG. That'll help, things along those lines. All right, so now let's talk about getting an image from the professionally created Camp Bow Wow image library. Again, if I wanted to add my own image, I click Add New. If I want to take an image from Camp Bow Wow, I would go to the franchise model. Now, by the way, if you're a multiple location franchise owner, all of your locations will appear here. That way you could upload images to one location and access those images from all your locations. Okay, it's pretty neat. For right now, I'm going to go to franchise model. And this is where, the Camp Bow Wow team is going to be updating images and imagery for different times and purposes that you guys could take. So go ahead and take the image that you want. Click on it, select the image, and now that image is on your website. And again, you can begin to resize it. All right, any questions about images? Okay. So now that we have images down and we got some text on the page, let's talk about another vital part of any web page, which is links. And there's a couple different types of links that we're going to be creating and speaking about. The first is an internal link, a link that points to a page on our website, such as dog boarding. Another type of link would be a link that points externally. So and then finally, another type of link would be download this PDF or download this brochure, right? So 3 different types of links. For the first link, anytime you're linking to an internal page, what you're going to do is highlight the link, the text that you want to be the link, and click on this button here, Link to Library. Now, iApps has 4 different libraries. We have a menus and page library, as you see by the word page. That's where all the pages and menu items on your websites are created. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. The same way iApps has an image library, which you already saw, iApps also has a file library. And it has the same exact functionality as the image library, right? You could upload files to it. That way you could put the file on your web pages. Files being things like PDFs, Word docs, Excel spreadsheets, right? You're obviously not going to worry about commerce product because you don't have commerce. So what I'm going to do here is click on my link target as a page. And anytime in iApps, you're linking to an internal page, you're never going to type in the URL of your internal page. You're either going to click on the ellipsis icon, which is 3 dots, or you're going to click on this icon here to search for the page. The reason behind that is that iApps is very SEO friendly at the product level, which means we're doing things like auto 301 redirects, and just technical jargon aside, it's going to help you. It makes your life easier, and anytime you are linking internally, you're going to click on this button. All right, so this is my menus and pages library. Check this out. As I expand global navigation, notice how you see home, service and pricing, and about us. Well, look at this. Here's Firefox. Here's Chrome, so just another browser, servicing and pricing about us. Notice how under about us I have Why Can't Bow Wow, Take a Tour, Our Team, etc. Why Can't Bow Wow, Take a Tour, Our Team, etc. If I hover over Our Team, this is my Our Team page. If I would visit this page, it would be this page. So this is literally your website. Later on, I'm going to show you how you create pages for your website. But right now, what I want to do is I just want to hyperlink to a page, and I want to link to the dog boarding page. I know dog boarding on my website is under service and pricing. Here's the dog boarding menu item. Here's that dog boarding page. Select page, create link. Next, anytime you're linking somebody externally to a website that is not in your Can't Bow Wow website, you would click on this icon here, which is the Hyperlink Manager. Choose your target as a new window, because when you're letting someone leave your website, you don't want to, introduce them. You don't want them to leave your website. You want your website open in one tab and the new link that they clicked on open in another. All right. And next here you see download this brochure or read more, okay? So for that, that's going to bring us to a PDF or a file in our file library. So because it's in our file library, the same way we upload an image, we upload a file. Highlight the text and click on Link to Library. From here, you'll select File and Library, and you'll search for the file. The same exact way I uploaded an image, I could upload a file, right? I'll add a file, browse my computer for the file, title it, save. Great. Now I can click on that file and select it. I'm going to go ahead and open it in a new window so it opens up in a new tab and create that link. All right, continuing on quickly through the rest of this WYSIWYG editor. Here you see Bing Translate. So we do allow for quick translation services through Bing, where you can highlight the text, choose the language you want to translate to, and it'll translate right there. Next, a lot like Microsoft Word, is left, center, right alignment. You could justify and remove justification, indent, remove your indent, new paragraphs, numbers and bullets specific to your website's look and feel. We do have a table builder, which is a lot like Microsoft Word table builder. You have the ability to insert a horizontal rule, which you see right here. If you wanted this image to be aligned to the right, not the left, you click on the image and then tell it to image align right, to align it to the right. Here you have bold, italicized, underline, superscript, subscript, capital to lowercase, and lowercase to capital. Once you are done editing all of your content, what you would do is click Save. When you click Save, the very first time you edit content on your website, you're going to get a warning. And that warning is going to say, hey, you can't save this content because it's referencing the master site content. You have to click Save As. And that makes sense, right? The websites that you guys are given literally are referencing master site content, the franchise model content. So anytime you're you're editing content for the first time, you're going to end up clicking Save As. When you click Save As, IX is going to say, all right, where do you want to save this content in the content library? I like to think of the content library as a file cabinet, and each piece of content has a file. Every time I create a new piece of content, I have to save that file, that content into my content, a certain file cabinet. So I'm going to title this About Camp Bow Wow Updated. And now I'm going to choose the folder that I want to save this in. When you get your website, the only folder you're going to have is unassigned, Marketeer Library, and blog posts. So what you're going to want to do is click on the plus icon to add new folders. Okay? And the reason you're going to want to add new folders is, again, so that you could neatly structure your content. You could always find it. You know where it lives. All right, so now that we just took a look at editing content, and before we get back over to following along our user guide, let's walk through different publishing options here. When I hover over page actions, I see Save as Draft. Now, IX is a web-based technology, which means it could time out. So the same way that you save content changes that you make in Microsoft Word as you're building out Word documents, you're going to want to save your changes in iApps every 15 minutes or so as you're editing a page. So I like to just click Save as Draft periodically to save a draft version of my page. I would do this if I was not yet ready to publish this to Workflow because I'm still working on it. Or maybe I had to run to a meeting or into another room. When I hover over Workflow, all you're going to see is Submit into Workflow and Show Hide Notes. Right, and I already explained that when you click Submit into Workflow, you'd be able to choose the workflow that you wanted to submit this to, and then you would choose the publish date and time, which allows for time-release publishing. After you publish a page, and you don't have the ability to click Publish Now, but I do, so I'm just going to click Publish Now because I want to make a point. After you click Publish Now, you're going to be able to see what this page looks like on a mobile device. And I don't mean by opening up your iPhone or your Android and typing in the URL and looking to see what it looks like. You'll be able to click on this button here and see exactly what this looks like on something the screen size of an iPhone. So we're giving you this real-life look as to what your website's going to look like on mobile devices. All right, any questions about the WYSIWYG editor or anything I've shown before we get back over to the scenario guide? Okay, great. I hope this is all making sense. So I'm back in the scenario guide, and right now I am on page number 8. Give me 1 second here. Sorry. Okay. On page number 8, and I'm reading from after our list where it says within IS there's different forms of content you'll be able to edit. So let's talk about the different types of content. The one that we just saw is text, right? So right now I'm out of edit mode because I clicked publish. To get back into edit mode, I'm going to click on my pencil icon. And as I see in my scenario document, the text is using that WYSIWYG editor, which we just saw, okay? Create new text, edit text. The next type of content that you're going to see a lot is a content definition. Content definitions give styles to a specific area. So when you look at this page, I imagine everyone looks at this page and says, A, what was this guy trying to write? But B, you're probably looking at this page and saying, I can make this in Microsoft Word. That wouldn't be that hard. All right, that's obviously using a text box. The next type of content is a content definition, okay? Oops, I logged myself out. Sorry, let me log myself back in. All right, the next type of content is a content definition. And again, these give certain styles. So looking at this, I hover over it, it turns white. I would not be able to create this with that same toolbar I just created the text on the other page. I would not be able to create this with the WYSIWYG editor. So I know it's using a content definition. And then the third type of content is lists. And essentially lists are lists of content definitions, like you see here. So let's take a look at now an example about editing pricing. And again, I'm at the bottom of page 8. So by following the directions on the bottom of page 8, it points out something interesting. Because my directions tell me from the dashboard, I could go to menus and pages. Let me show you what this would consist of. I'd have to go back to my IF's dashboard. All that this is doing right now, right? Again, I'm on page 8. All it's doing right now is trying to get me to the overnight dog boarding page, okay? So now it wants me to go to menus and pages. Keep in mind, menus and pages is that literal build out of my website, right? So I would expand global navigation. I'd go to services and pricing. I'd go to overnight dog boarding. And because I want to edit the pricing on this page, I could click here and select edit page. Remember how I said how you should not be spending time in this dashboard, right? You should be spending all your time here in the front end of your website. That's because you should, right? Rather than doing all that, wouldn't it be way easier to navigate to the page you wanted just from here, right? If I want to get to events, boom, I'm on events and I'm in edit mode. I can begin to edit events. I want to get to that dog boarding page, boom, dog boarding. I can begin to edit dog boarding. So just keep in mind that you can navigate your website from the front end still in this edit mode. A huge perk of iApps. Oh, look at that guy. Sorry. All right. So let's talk about how you're going to edit the pricing table. Going on to page 9, I see that I'm going to be brought to the pricing table, and I'm going to click on this page and pencil icon here and select Edit Text to edit this pricing table. From here to edit the pricing table, all I would do is highlight rows that I want to change. So I could say, maybe this is dog washing. I don't know if that's a service, but we'll pretend. And that's $40. And then we have dog fetching, and that's $50, right? You put in all your different services. Hey, you want to get rid of some services? You don't have 10 services? That's a lot. Highlight the line, right-click, delete the row. You want to add another? Highlight the line, right-click, insert a row. You're probably only ever going to want to highlight, right-click, delete a row, insert a row, or insert a row. You're not going to want to start inserting columns to the left or right, and you're not going to want to start deleting columns. Your website's built responsively. This table's built beautifully. Just stick to rows. All right, so that's how you're going to edit the different service pricing or different tables, excuse me. Now keep in mind the first time that you edit these and you click Save, IAPS is going to give you that warning that you got from Jurassic Park. It's going to remind you that you have to click Save As and not Save because it's referencing master site content. So you're going to click Save As, and then you're going to have to save the content in your content library. Again, your content library is only going to have these 3 folders. I already built these out because I had one of these trainings yesterday. So you're going to want to click on Broomfield, click the plus sign, and begin to add folders, right? Maybe I'm going to create a folder for tables. What I recommend with this content library to help you keep it as structured and neat as possible in a way that makes sense to you is I like to make it mimic my website, okay? So I probably wouldn't have a folder here called Tables. I'd probably have a folder called Home, a folder called About Us, a folder called Services, etc. But it's your choice how you want to structure your content library, as long as you understand how it works. All right, following along on my guide now, onto page 11. When I click Save As, I just save it into my content library. At this point, I still have to make sure that this gets published, right? I didn't publish this yet. To make sure that we submit, don't forget this because then all your work is for nothing. To make sure that you're going to send this over to get published, you're going to hover over Workflow and click Submit into Workflow. And this is the point where you would choose your workflow that you want to submit this to. Right? Choose your workflow, choose your publish date and time, and then you would click Submit into Workflow. Once you click Submit into Workflow, at that point, it's in the hands of corporate to accept it, reject it, send back notes. All right. Any questions on editing the tables, the service tables? All righty. So let's continue on page 11, section 1.5.5, creating and editing featured campers. So in addition to editing text areas, you're going to need to create and edit featured campers, which are featured on the home page. So to create and edit this area, what the guide is telling me is the first thing I'll do is add an image into the image library. That should be 600 by 275. To get an image 600 by 275, you're probably going to want to utilize an image editing tool like Paint, Photoshop, or Microsoft Image Editor. After you get the image loaded into IAPS, and I've already shown how to upload an image, you're going to want to jump to the home page. Now again, I could go back to my dashboard and click Jump to Home, right? Or I could just click this to get to my home page. But I'll go ahead and click on my dashboard. And I'm going to jump to my site editor. So now let's talk about the content definition. As I scroll down on this page, I see this section here, which is Why Can't Bow Wow? Okay? To edit this homepage feature, we'll click on the pencil icon and select Edit Content Definition. From here, you'll need to update the following pieces. You want to edit the image. To get a new image in here, you would click on this ellipsis, and then you could upload an image that you took, or take an image, again, from the Franchise Model Professional Image Library. That guy. Next, you could change the subtitle. I'll change this up, right? Maybe it's Featured Camper. The subtitle. This dog rocks. It's a wordplay because the name is Rocks and he rocks. Description. You can put in a description here, right? You could add images, links, right? It's that same WYSIWYG editor, which is why I said it's such a backbone. We could put in a link text, and then we can add a link URL if I want to. So maybe this will be read his testimonial. And I'm going to go ahead and link over to my testimonials page. Again, I'm never going to type in an internal link. I'll always search for an internal link. Global navigation, about us, testimonials. Save as, right? Anytime I edit or create new content, I have to save it into my content library. So I'm going to click Save As. I'm going to call this Home Feature Right. Wait, that's on my left. Home Feature Left. And put in my home content folder. Select that directory. Look at that. All that just changed just like that. So what you're going to want to do is probably have 3 lines of text. So at this point, I'm pretty much just putting in, dummy text, obviously. Okay. There we go. All right. So at this point, now you'd be ready to submit the page to workflow, right? So you would head over to workflow and click Submit into workflow, and then send this over to the corporate team to publish it. So as you can see, you're always going to save the content and then submit the page to workflow. You have to do both of those things. Any questions on what a content definition is or how it differs from the regular text editor? Okay. Hope things are making sense so far. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is head to page 14, section 1.5.6, creating, editing, awards, and testimonials. Testimonials are used on our home page and have a dedicated page under About Us, right? So here they are on the home page, and under About Us, here's the testimonials page as well. The formatting of the awards and testimonials is obviously content definition. So what's going to happen if you want to have your own testimonial? So your website's going to come with 6 testimonials from the corporate team. So you guys are great in your business. You do amazing jobs. You have super happy customers and super happy dogs, and you want to feature your own testimonials, real-life testimonials. How do you do that? Well, right now, this list is pointing to a model list, right? It's a fake list. It's a model list. Maybe they're real testimonials. It's a model list. So the first thing you're going to want to do is say, select Content Library folder. And you're going to want to make yourself a folder for these testimonials, okay? So you can just click here. Sorry. I showed you earlier in the Content Library how you click the plus sign to add folders, right? You'll add yourself a folder. Again, it's just for internal housekeeping. Once you add a folder, everything in that folder that has the content type of testimonials is going to appear. As you see, I made one yesterday. To add another testimonial, just click Add New Content now. IAPS is automatically going to know to make this a testimonial, so I'm just going to go ahead and title it. This is going to be Testimonial 2. Let's choose an image. And I'm going to go ahead and choose an image from that shared franchise model library. Website, About Us, Testimonials. That one. Oh, that's the one I'm already using. Clearly, it's my favorite dog. That guy. Let's put in a title. Roxy is happy. A description. This place is the best. They are better than the rest. Link text and a link URL if I want to add a link to this testimonial. Right? Maybe I want this to link over to the testimonials page. Check out our other testimonials to read more like Rox. And now I'll link over to the testimonial page by clicking on the ellipses. What's the rating? 5 stars. And the source, meaning who's the parent. That's what that means. Jackson. Jackson's the owner of Roxy. All right, so now click Save. And that content definition is a form, right? You fill in the fields of the form, and here it is. At this point, I know it looks funky, but that's just because we're in edit mode. When we actually publish this page out, when I would actually submit it to workflow, it would format itself properly, going right aligned, okay? Which you'll see in a second, because I just clicked Save as Draft. And I'll click on this little globe here, which is View as Live, just so you can see what it looks like when live, meaning we're going to get rid of the pencil icons. And there you go. Pretty easy, right? All right, any questions on the testimonials that you're going to be adding? Okay. So now I'm heading to the bottom of page 16, and we're going to take a look at events. Julie, have any questions came in? Are things making sense right now?
Nope, no questions on here.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at the events section. So following along now on the top of page 17, there are 2 components to creating events. The first step is you don't need to worry about setting up the list page. Right? So what we're going to have to do is set up the event page. To create the event page, this is one place where you actually will have to navigate back to the dashboard. So to get to the dashboard, right, we hover over iApps, and we go to our Content Manager dashboard. So now we're going to navigate to Menus and Pages. We're going to expand our global navigation. We're going to expand Events and Community. And we're going to select the Event menu item. Now, I ultimately want to put the event in the proper month. And right now I'm in October, so I'm going to click on October. So now what we're going to do is click Add New. Keep in mind I'm in Menus and Pages. So when I click Add New here, I'm not adding an image or a file. I'm adding a whole new page to my website. Powerful stuff. So now I'm going to name this page. This is going to be Doggy Halloween Costume Contest. Next, you'll choose the template. For events, you're always going to use the event detail template. Now you can put in all your SEO properties as well. After you fill in the SEO elements for this page, click Save and View in Editor. All right, now what's going to happen is we're going to be brought to a totally blank page. I just created a new page. Of course, there's no content on it. It's blank. So what do we do on this page? Well, the first thing I'm going to have to do is add the event. And the event is a content definition. So right over here, you're going to click on this pencil icon and create a content definition. Now I'm going to change the content type, which is very important, to events, because that's what I want to create. I want to create an event. Now let's go ahead and add in all the attributes about this event. The title, I think I said it was a Doggy Halloween Costume Contest. I apologize if my spelling is awful. Doggy Halloween Costume Contest. The description, best costume wins $50. No, $500. No, $5,000. An image. You go ahead and add an image. And I can add an image from, again, my image library, right? So maybe I'll just pull in an image here. I'm just trying to find something real quick. Okay. And the image is not required, right? I don't have to add an image if I don't want one. Choose my start date, right? So this is going to be October 31st at 9 a.m. And it's going to end October 31st at 4 p.m. Location name, Camp Bow Wow NYC. The address is 123 Fake Street, City, New York, State, New York, zip. There we go. Are we requiring registration for this? Nah, you can just come. If we are, is it a third-party registration website, or are they registering on our website, right? If it was external, you can put in a URL. If it's an internal registration page, you could choose that URL as well. I'm not going to require registration. I'm just going to click Save. Brand new content. As we know, brand new content has to get saved in the content library. So let's call this Doggy Halloween Costume Party. That's the name of my content for internal purposes only. Save it as an event. Select the directory. There it is. I can now, of course, at this point, you would submit it into workflow, all right? But I'm just going to click Publish Now because I have the permission. And there we go. Now that's going to appear on that events listing page, and it also appears on the event page itself. I know it's not actually appearing right now. It will. All we have to do is actually edit the properties. I could show you that. So, the reason it's not appearing is if I edit properties of this list. There it is. There, Doggy Halloween Costume Contest. Hey, Mike, I think you're on the line, or Meredith. Just double check with Julie if we do want to include submenu items default, right? Okay, so let me publish that, and there we go. All right, so now that we just created a page, what we're going to have to do to that event is add some. So let me go back to my event, Doggy Halloween Costume Contest. Let me get back to edit this event because as I see on page 18, we have to add tabs, okay? I'll show you what I mean by tabs. If I go to a different event, you're going to see tabs, right? Tab. We have multiple tabs. So let's go back to my event list and go back to my Doggy Halloween costume thingy. And I want to edit this page. So to edit this page, I click the pencil icon. Alrighty. And now, how do we add those tabs? Well, I'm going to admit, stick to the user guide, and you're going to be perfect. First thing you're going to do is click on this pencil icon here. And as I see in my user guide, I'm going to click Change Link. On this modal, the link title is the name of my tab. So I'm going to call this Event Rules. Then you have to select Page, and now you have to type in a hashtag. That's it. Create link. That's all you got to do to make a tab. Now, let's add some content to this tab. Maybe I'm going to add a little bit of a style, a little H3 tag here. Dog costume rules. Rule 1. By the way, when I click enter, it's a line break. If I click shift enter, just like Microsoft Word, no line break. Also, if you do ever want to edit the HTML when you're in this WYSIWYG editor, click on this icon here. I don't know HTML, so I'm going to get back out of it. All right, so that's my tab 1. Click Save. I'm going to call this tab 1. Save it in my event folder. And I'm going to add one more tab just so we see how those work, right? Change link style here. Tab 2 is going to say prizes, page, hashtag, create link. And let's create some text for prizes, right? First place gets ... Second place gets ... Third place gets ... Everyone gets fun. Aww. All right, click Save. Tab 2, right? And all new content has to get stored in my content library. Select directory. And now at this point, you would submit this page to workflow when you are done. I have permission to click Publish Now, and I want to show you the final results, so I'm going to click Publish Now.
Hey, Ethan, there was one question that came up. You can choose a publish date. Is there a way to set a unpublish or deletion date to pull an event off the site?
You want to be careful with it. All right, so 2 things. First, here's that page, here are the tabs, right? So this is how it looks with the tabs, okay? So now to answer that question, yes, but you got to be careful. When you're in workflow and you click submit into workflow, you see an archive date. Archive date means that's when it should come off the website. Our workflows are, we're going to get a little technical here. Our workflows are page-based. They're not content-based, meaning you can't make a change to this page. Let's say you're on this page here, why can't bow out? You can't come in here. Let me edit, right? You can't come in here, make a change, and then say, you know, archive, and think that you're only going to be archiving that change. You're archiving the whole page. So you're never going to want to do archive date on a page under here. You'll never want to do archive page here. Never, ever on your home page, right? You would take down your home page. It wouldn't be good. The only time you would ever do that archive thingy option is on events. And that's a good point. So on events, when you're creating an event page, you can, for the very first time, right, you're here, you're creating it, you set up your tabs. After you set up your tabs, you could do submit into workflow. You could choose your start date and time, and you could choose an archive date and time. The reason it would work on events but nothing else is because there's nowhere else to access events from, right? The only way to access events is from the event listing page. And by archiving an event page, you're taking it off the listing page. So whoever said that question, yes, it's a great point. You can archive events, but I'm just giving you the huge caveat that if I'm you, I don't archive anything else but events. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Julie, any other follow-ups there?
No.
Okay. Just grabbing a little sip of water right now. Okay, so the next thing that we have, according to our guide, which we've been following, is we're going to skip creating news at a time's sake because you would create news pretty much the same way as an event. So let's look at creating our team. So our team has been created for you, but you will want to update specific staff members, obviously, right? So the first thing that you'll need to do is navigate to the Our Team page. And I know by now I don't have to go back over my dashboard. I could just head right over to Our Team within Site Editor. And now I can begin to edit my team. So I'll scroll down. I'll click on my pencil icon, and I'll select Edit Text. I know that I want that to come with me, so I'm going to pin it, and I'll scroll down the page. And as I can see that we have now a third employee that I could add. So I could fill in my employee image. I could change the position. I could type in, right, different years. I could add any information that I want here, okay? Sorry. All right. So that's how I just begin to continue to edit my employees. After I edited my employees, I would click Save As. And then as we're familiar with, we would click Submit into Workflow, right? You always have to click Save As on the content or Save on the content. And then you always have to submit your changes to Workflow. Otherwise, they go nowhere. All right, now let's talk about hiding and removing pages. If you recall, I created an event page. And I created an event page for my doggy Halloween contest. Perhaps I did not set it to automatically archive. So now I want to go ahead and I want to delete it. I'm going to go back to my Content Manager dashboard. And I'm going to go to Menus and Pages because I want to archive or delete a page. Let's go to that page I created. Doggy Halloween costume contest, hover over more. And as you can see, I could delete it or archive it. There's two main changes between those. Archiving will enable you to reactivate this page at a later date. Deleting will delete the page forever. All right, so right now, because this was a test page, I'm just going to click delete. And now it's gone. All right, totally gone. Which means if I'm back on the website here, so back on the website, if I try to get to that page, anyway, long story short is the page is gone. All right, so the next thing that we have along the lines in our guide, just some other helpful tips in Content Manager. So from this dashboard, let me click on my dashboard icon. If you're a multiple location owner and you want to jump between your different sites, right? You have a website for Broomfield and a website for Mopfield. You could jump between the different sites by clicking in here, and then all your other variant sites, all your other websites that you're a owner or an employee for would drop down. There'd be a drop-down list, okay? If you ever want to add a user to your website, right? You get a new employee, he's a marketing manager, he wants to help out on the website, you have to call Bridgeline Digital's IAP support team or Camp Bow Wow corporate team, and we will be able to create that user for you, all right? So you're going to need us to create users. You'll also need us to remove users. So if somebody has access and you're like, hey, that person doesn't work here anymore, I don't want them to access the website, you'll have to call us and let us know who to delete. And you'll be getting the contact information for the support teams soon enough. All right, before I take a dive into Marketeer, which I know everyone's excited for, the last thing I'm going to talk about is attributes. And when I say attributes, I'm going to show you what I mean. When I say attributes, I mean well, I forget what page it's on. Maybe it's under About Us. Anyway, some pages have in the right sidebar times, right, where you see the hours of operation and stuff. Those are based on attributes. So you're not going to be managing your store hours and your location and your Facebook URL from the site editor. Instead, you'll be managing these attributes from here in the back end of the admin. Julie, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure all your websites are shipped with the proper attributes already.
That's correct, but we'll definitely want you to go in and validate that your address is accurate, your phone number, your hours. We did our best to try to make sure it's accurate for you out of the gate, but we'll definitely want you to double check that.
Perfect. So this is where you'll be able to come in, double check. And if you're like, hey, ain't nobody want to be awake at 6:30 a.m., you could change that to, a different time. All right. You can also manage your geo attributes here. Again, this is going to be shipped with the proper geo attributes, but we recommend double checking and making sure it's correct. Now, eventually when you click the Help button, it's going to bring you to the Camp Bow Wow support site, which isn't ready yet. So right now, if you click Help, it won't bring you there. But, when you guys get to the site, I imagine by then, when you click on help, it'll bring you over to your custom support site with, Camp Bow Wow videos and user guides and FAQs. Alrighty. Any questions in Content Manager before we head over to Marketeer? And I hope it, I know it can be drinking out of a fire hose sometimes, but I hope that's making at least a little bit of sense. All right, so let's head over to Marketeer. One thing that I love about iApps, it's all one integrated system. I don't have to log out of iApps and log into the email marketing system or anything like that. I can just click Marketeer, and I'm now in iApps Marketeer. So when you log into Marketeer, you're going to see the dashboard for all your email campaigns. And from here, you can easily access your scheduled emails as well as your sent emails via the Sent tab. Excuse me. So first, let's talk about accessing your shared email campaigns, as we see on page number 23. So franchise locations are going to have emails shared with them from the corporate team. These emails can be edited for your specific location. All right, so this is how you're going to edit the this is how you're going to access these emails. These are all your available campaigns. Let's say you want to send a message about the Yappy Hour that you guys are having. You'd click on Yappy Hour Broomfield, scroll up, and you could view and schedule this email. First thing you're going to want to do is verify that the email details that you see on the left are all correct. So you're going to want to verify the email name, the email subject, which is what's seen in the subject line, the sender name. Here you see site property title. Look, you're going to see things that say, you're going to see these brackets and then, a word and a colon and a word. These are using site attributes. It's how we deal with franchises, and it's how we localize website and email content for franchises. Anywhere you see this, you're probably going to want to leave it alone, because iApps is smart enough to fill in, when it sees this, the title of your location. So as a receiver, I'm not going to see sender name as, in my inbox, it's not going to say Camp Bow Wow, site property title. It's going to say Camp Bow Wow Broomfield. iApps is smart enough to send that. Field first name, right? You've all probably gotten emails, hi Julie, hi Sue, hi Joe. That's what this is going to do here. That's going to go to the user, and it's going to say hi Charlie, hi Roxy, hi Jackson. Sender email, the key here is you want it to be a real email address. All right? It can't be a fake email address. It's got to be a real email address. And then the confirmation email, that's the person who's going to get an email after this goes out. And that confirmation email is pretty much just going to say, congratulations, this email was successfully sent to, X amount of people. Now on the right, we're going to see the content of the email. And as you can see, we have the pencil icons where we could edit things. We don't want you to edit the header. We don't want you to edit any of this information, and you should not edit the main message. All you should do is click on this pencil icon, edit the text, and add your coupon, right? Add a coupon that you're comfortable with, not necessarily the one that is here. So to do that, first of all, let me pin my WYSIWYG editor. We're going to select this coupon, and I'm just going to click delete on my keyboard. Now I'm going to insert an image from my library, and I'm going to navigate over to that franchise model, that shared image library. I'm going to go to emails, coupons, and I'm going to choose the coupon that I want to send to my customers, like the refer a friend. You guys are good. Select that image, and there it is. So that's how you're going to get new coupons in here. Now you can click Save, and there we go. So after you click Save, you're going to be able to begin to schedule your coupon, your email to go out. To schedule it, you're going to click Save and Schedule. Previously choose recipients. These are all your different contact lists. And you'd be able to choose a list of recipients. Being that this isn't about vaccinations or reservations, this is just general yappy hour, you might want it to go to all your contacts. Next, you would choose to schedule a date and time that you want the email to go out. And then finally, you would publish it. I'm not going to publish anything. I'm just going to close. And let me close out of here as well. So that's how you edit an email. But what about creating a new email, right? You have a new email that you want to make, and it's not based on any of the shared email templates that you have here. Well, you're going to go to Campaigns. Nope, you're going to go to Campaigns, and Manage Emails. From here, you're going to click the plus sign to add a new email. Choose your template, okay? I'm going to use the one-column template, and I'll fill in everything about the email. My name. This is my October newsletter. Email subject, Happy October. Sender name, Camp Bow Wow, NYC. Sender name, CBW, NYC. Oh, sender email, sorry. CBW, NYC at CBW.com. And then the confirmation email, right? Click Continue. And now you're going to be brought into a blank email where you could build out the email as you'd like. Put in your header, your footer, your email content, right? And it's the same WYSIWYG editor that you're used to. Finally, you'd be able to save it, schedule it, and publish. All right. Now let's talk about importing contact lists, right? So importing your email recipients. The first thing that you're going to have to do is log in to My Newsletter Builder and then click Subscribers in the top menu. And then you're going to need to follow these directions here to export your contacts from My Newsletter Builder, okay? I recommend following these directions closely. All right, so then once you've exported the contacts, you're going to have something that roughly, I'm catching on, all right, that roughly looks like this, right? You have email address, the name, dog name, owner, location, etc. Lots and lots of contacts. Now you're going to want to upload that contact list. So what you're going to have to do is head over to Contacts and Import Contacts. Now what you're going to do is upload the CSV file that you just exported from My List Builder or My Email Builder, right? And you're going to import it. So you'll browse for it. We assume that you saved it to your computer somewhere, okay? You're going to map the fields. And what I mean by map fields, by the way, is, all this information that you have in your system, right? You're going to map it over here. Although I imagine that we did pretty good getting that name convention right. Verify the data, and then you're going to save this contact list. Now these are people that you're going to be able to reach out to and send emails to. All right, next you're also going to be able to create contact lists dynamically. This isn't something you should have to do because they're set up for you, but let me show you what I mean. When I go to Manage Contact Lists, see how there's all these contact lists created already and they're not synced? These are syncing, forget terminology, how. But these are all the different lists. And here you see inactive 120 days, 90 days, 60 days. These are attributes that are like uploaded. So you do have the ability to add a new contact list where you're going to be able to group users, based on any kind of information. Last transaction city, last transaction state. So you want to email everybody whose last transaction was. The long and short of it is that you really shouldn't have to, though, create these dynamic contact lists. Is there anything else you want to add there? I think yesterday you mentioned about a little more how that sync works.
Builder.
So for the one-off emails, those newsletters and your Yappy Hours, you're going to first want to download your list from my newsletter builder, which we gave instructions in the training guide. And it tells you how to make sure that you're just getting those who are opted in to your subscriber list. Since my newsletter builder currently manages your opt-out list, you'll want to make sure that you download the list that just has your active subscribers, and then you'll upload it into iApps. And then from there you can sync it, I guess. I don't remember what the right terminology is, but basically format it to iApps format. And then you really just need the email address. There's lots of other fields you can fill in if you have that information, like dog name, first name, last name. But you really just need to make sure that you have your email address copied in there and associate that field to the iApps email field.
Okay. So after you send out your emails, we have some really great email statistics that you're going to be able to view. All right, so let me go back over to my campaigns and go to my Sent tab. I'm going to click on email statistics of this email that went out. What I'm going to show you is when you click on overlays of the email, this awesome report that you get. So this is an email that went out. Okay. Probably realistically looks a little tighter. And notice how these are all links. And next to each link, we get a percentage. That's the percentage of people that clicked on each link. Clearly, the percentage drops as you get lower into the email, right? Higher up content is better. What I could see is exactly how many clicks this link got. I could even view exactly which customers of mine clicked on this link or which leads of mine clicked on this link. That's pretty powerful, right? If this email is about a rhino pup crawl and a Halloween at the orchard, those are two different things. If people are interested in this, maybe I want to send them another email about this. If people are interested in this, they raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in Halloween at the orchard, then maybe we're going to want to send them more emails about Halloween at the orchard, right? Kind of start focusing in our marketing message. Well, what I could do is export everyone who clicked on this link and assign them to a contact list about Halloween at the orchard, right? Make a new contact list. And it's going to automatically take everyone who clicked on this link, put them into that contact list so I could send them those one-off emails that we just spoke about. So really powerful reporting that you get here. So the other type of email that you guys have are your scheduled emails or your autoresponders, actually. So let's head over to your autoresponders and go to Manage Autoresponders. These are the different emails that you have the ability to opt in or you have the ability to opt in or opt out of based upon, if you want your leads or customers receiving these emails. So you see appointment confirmation at Broomfield, MVP, thank you, and welcome to the pack. You have the ability to decide which of these emails you want to send. If you're like, look, this email, I don't want to send it, sorry, you could go ahead and make it inactive so that now you're not participating in this autoresponder campaign. If you want to send the welcome to the pack email, what you'd probably first want to do is edit it because you want to make sure it's got the content that you want, right? So click edit. And as you can see, this email is, you're not going to want to touch anything up here. All you're going to want to do is click on the email and choose edit. And this is how you could go in and, again, change that coupon that you're offering, right? You'll probably want to swap out this coupon and give them a coupon that you want to get for your site. Then you would click Save and Schedule. I'm just going to click Close. All right. Julie, anything else you think that we should touch on today?
Did you cover the difference between the campaigns and the autoresponders? And then how to activate the autoresponders?
Yep. So the autoresponders, right? And then you could make them inactive if you want to opt out of them. They are starting off as active, so you're automatically
Nope,
opted
they're all
in.
starting off as, they're all starting off as inactive. So by default, you'll be opted out of all campaigns, and then you have the ability to go in and choose the campaigns that you want to send and to activate. And so what you'll want to do is go into them, edit, adjust the coupon if you want to change out the coupon, and then activate it. And then that campaign will then, for the autoresponders and the triggered emails, will automatically send based on Datadog information. And then the scheduled emails, like your newsletter, event invites, those you'll upload your list, your contact list, and then you'll schedule those a specific day and time to send.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the main functions that we want to cover in the iApps platform. I know there's a lot of information that Ethan went over with the website, with the email campaigns. That's why you have the training guide. We're recording this session. It'll be available for you to review later. They also will have a lot of support materials available on their website, along with contact information for someone you can call, email, so that we can get everybody up to speed on this. But before we end today, I know Steve wants to cover a few things on Datadog and some of the different things that you're going to see there so that you can understand how we're going to be using Datadog to trigger some of these emails. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, guys. I'm just give me a second to take over the controls here. But yeah, again, I wanted to just talk through and show you, or just walk through really the changes that we've made to Datadog to handle this integration with the platform. There's a couple of things that we had to change, and specifically around the interview workflow to ensure that we have a trigger point to send the data element over to iApps to then send an email when a successful interview is checked out from. Second here to show you my screen. so the first thing I wanted to show you is this new status type for a dog. So as a new dog gets added into Datadog, they're going to be defaulted to this pending interview status. And that is going to allow us to see that transition and really give us the ability to report on any dog that has not successfully passed an interview yet. So we've added this new interview type, or excuse me, status type. So now let's go ahead and build an interview reservation real quick and see this workflow change. There's a new pop-up that will interrupt you as you go to check out a interview reservation. We get over there. All right, let's go ahead and check them out. Okay, so now you'll see this new pop-up that asks you how did the interview go. From here, you'll be able to choose who conducted the interview and whether they passed, they failed, or need further evaluation. Now, this selection will also update the dog's status. So if you say that they passed, then it'll update them to an active status. If you say that they failed, it will update them to the failed interview status. And if they need further evaluation, then nothing will change, and they'll be left in that pending interview status. So let's assume they've passed. And we excuse me, before we do that, the new pending interview status gives us that element to now report against. So as you can see, we've added a new report under the contacts report types for pending interview. And all it really is looking for is dogs added within your date range and have that pending interview status. So you can always kind of get a list of who still needs to come in for their interview. So back to our workflow here, as we go ahead and save this, it's not only going to update the information and send it over to Bridgeline, but it's also going to update the dog's profile as well with the data on the right-hand side of your screen. So we can see that they passed now that they're active and everything's working well. The other change to Datadog that was needed, if I can find my screen, oh, here we are, is an addition to the top spender report. So assuming we've got email addresses for all of our top spenders here, we're going to be able to click this new Export to Marketing Platform button that will allow us to compile a list of 5, 10, 15, up to 30 top spenders. And as soon as we click this Compile List button, it will generate a list of all of the active clients with a valid email address and then be able to send that list over to the marketing platform to then initiate an email. So those are really all the changes that have happened within Datadog to handle the triggers, the watched events, if you will. A lot of the data for vaccinations and new contacts happens overnight in a script that runs overnight to look for that updated data and then pass that along to the marketing platform. I've got a question. Is the top spender function only available for owner profile? No, I believe that is anybody that has access to the reports will have access to that report as well. I'm sorry, one more update that I forgot to mention too is previously Datadog, as you add a new dog and save their information, it would save a default date of January 1st. If you did not actually manually update this, it would save a default date to the database of January 1st of 2015, or whatever the current year was when the dog was added. As we anticipate extending this functionality with the marketing platform to email a dog for their birthday, we needed to take care of that bad data, and we actually took a pass through all of those 1/1 of whatever year birthdays and updated them back to a null state, so they're empty. So we're not going to email, a mass majority of your clients every January 1st of the year to say happy birthday. Now it'll be more of the, the actual data that has been manually entered and more validated data. So that was the other change that has happened with this as well. All right.
Okay, so I know covered a lot of information, so please let us know if you have any questions. There's both forums available in the doghouse, so as you go through, if you have feedback, please place it there. And if there's any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to us directly. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time and sticking with us throughout this long training session. All right, thanks, everyone. Bye.